My contour either looks amazing or it looks awful. There's no in between. Hi guys! Ready to shit on some books with me? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Maddie if you're new here. I hope your day is going well. And today we're going to do my worst, most disappointing, shittiest books of 2017 video. I'm gonna just put all of them in the same video. I know a lot of people have been doing like most disappointing and the worst and the like absolute worst, like 4 or 5 different videos, and I'm gonna just do all of them in the same video. And I haven't been filming in a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this video because this is gonna be the most fun for me and I'm sure it's gonna be the most fun for you. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. As I'm sure we all know, though some of us seem to keep forgetting between unpopular opinion videos, I don't mean to offend you if I didn't like your favorite book, and yeah, there's that. Moving on. There are some of these books that weren't published in 2017. I just read them in 2017 and I genuinely either disliked them or was seriously disappointed by them. We're gonna start with my least less favorite. We're gonna start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Basically, that's what we're gonna do. And the first book that we're starting with is actually a DNF, which is technically cheating, but this one really disappointed me, so I wanted to share with you guys what that book was. That book was Voodoo Killings by Christy Cherish. I do plan on donating this one. This is a voodoo like police story set in my native city of Seattle, and it just felt like it didn't capture Seattle's essence at all, and the storyline was really weird and the characters were super boring and I just wasn't a fan. Super disappointed. It looked really good and then it turned out to be super not. And number 9 on my list is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I don't think I plan on keeping this book. I enjoyed it for the most part, but I think I would have enjoyed it more before I started BookTube and before I really critiqued the books that I was reading. This book is about a notorious filmmaker whose daughter commits suicide and a journalist who's been disgraced. It basically goes into the notorious filmmaker's world to find out what happened to his daughter and why she killed herself. And there's a part to the story that's mixed media that I was really excited for. Oh, it's upside down. But there wasn't enough mixed media for me to be really interested in this novel, and it really kind of fell flat for me with the other parts that happened in the story, and yeah. I do think it's well written, but I was mostly disappointed because I was more excited for the mixed media than I was for the novelization, and the novelization was the biggest part of the book. I gave Night Film 3 stars though. And the next book that I'll be talking about is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This book is a kind of like futuristic dystopian world where there are people with special powers and the main character gets kidnapped and sent to a camp and there's aliens, and it was just super overambitious. I do have a review on my channel for it. I will link it down below or in the card if you have more interest in my in-depth thoughts, but since I did spend like 10 minutes talking about that book, I think we'll skim over it. I didn't enjoy it. And the 7th book on this list is lower than I expected it to be, but at the same time I knew for some reason that it was going to be on my list one way or the other, because the second book in the series was on my list last year, despite the fact that I gave it like 4 stars, and that is Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I'm pretty sure this is going to be on a lot of people's disappointed lists, but personally I felt like this book was really lackluster. It didn't do a good job of following A Court of Mist and Fury. This is the 3rd book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, if you've not heard of that. It's kind of like a fairy tale retelling with dark fae, and it was really good, and this one just kind of crashed and burned for me. There were a lot of things that I had issues with, but I also have a book talk on this one if you are more interested in my in-depth thoughts, linked below or in the card, depending on what Maddie wanted to do when she uploaded the video. If I haven't linked anything, can you let me know? Moving on, the 6th book on this list is Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. I felt really sad that this book did not work out very well for me because my good friend Allie from Allie's Sugar loves this book, but I did not enjoy it. I felt like the main character was just kind of wandering around. It's set in a fantasy world, but it's super dystopian, which was super strange, and there's a very violent rape scene that no one warned me about, and it just kind of plops into the middle of the book, and it's really graphic and I wasn't prepared for it, and I just didn't enjoy this one very much at all. It was an interesting experience. I don't think I'll be continuing on with the series, unfortunately. The fifth book is going to be Shadowrun. I've honestly forgotten the authors on this one. It was so long ago that I read it. This book I ended up giving a 1-star review to. It is a space odyssey and it has a lot of really weird things going on in it that I didn't really like. There was definitely a weird power dynamic between the main love interests, and there's also a gender fluid character that to me wasn't being treated very well, but I've also seen people in the community that do say that it's good rep, but I unfortunately cannot tell you if it is or not. But to me, I didn't particularly enjoy this novel and will not be reading anything by these authors probably ever again. And it's been so long on that one that I cannot tell you what the fuck it was about. I'm not gonna lie. And then moving on to number 4 on the list is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I ended up giving this book 2 stars. Yeah, I ended up giving it 2 stars. I was thoroughly disappointed by this one. I'd heard a lot of really good things, a lot of really intense action scenes, lots of fighting, but this book took like 200 pages to get anywhere, and it was just, when it got somewhere, it was pretty interesting, but at the same time, I didn't like the main character. The main character just bothered me so much that I just could not handle him at all. And I've heard that the rest of the series gets a lot better, especially with the female characters, because the female characters in this book were so interchangeable, I couldn't remember their names from page to page. But I do plan on reading the rest of the series, but I don't know when I will get to that, and I don't think I'll be buying them just because of my reading experience with this book was not fucking great. So there's that. I know I can recommend this book to people because there's people that will like this book. I just genuinely didn't. Number 3 on the list is actually the first book I read this year, and that is Carve The Mark by Veronica Roth. I didn't like this book. As I'm sure a lot of you know, my review that I did of this book was pretty popular there for a hot minute, but I ended up giving this 2 stars. There is racial problematic stuff going on in this novel, but I also just didn't like the world building and I didn't like the relationship. A big thing for me that I didn't like about this book was that there's a scene where the main character says that her love interest fixes her, and I almost DNF'd the book right there. For me, the trope of fixing your love interest is so fucking no. Just don't fix people. People are not broken. If they are, they need to go fix themselves. That's not your— I'm getting on a little bit of a tangent, so we're gonna come back. There was a lot of things going on in the community about this book that have finally kind of died down because other books have taken over that particular conversation, but this one I just genuinely didn't like either way, and I don't plan on reading the rest of the series, much less anything else from Veronica Roth, because I just don't like her writing style. And then the second book on my list for the worst fucking books of 2017 is Artemis by Andy Weir. If you didn't know that was coming, then I'm pretty fucking shocked. I did a 15-minute review on this guy. I read it in under 4 hours. It is a very short read. It's very scientific. It's about a smuggler on the moon. She's a Saudi Arabian woman, and Andy Weir might have been really good at writing a Andy Weir type character, but he's definitely not good at writing a Saudi Arabian woman's voice. I've definitely been getting a lot of hate on that video, but I stand by literally everything I said in it. If you want to find out more details about why I disliked Artemis, you can go click on that video because I am tired of talking about it. And the last book on my 10 books of most hated things that I read in 2017 is something I'm not even going to talk about because I've talked about it too much, and I'm sure if you've been with this channel for long enough you know what book I'm talking about, and if not, you can go look through my videos and probably find the video that's 20 minutes long about the book that I didn't like this year. I personally have been having a lot of issues with reading books because reviewers have come out saying that they're problematic, and I just don't genuinely think that that's good for my mental health anymore. I definitely read that particular book because there was this huge crazy thing happening on book Twitter and booktube, but at the same time I just feel like that reading experience sucked so badly that I don't think I'm gonna do that to myself next year. So next year I plan on not reading books that have problematic content unless a reviewer I trust says that they're worth my time. Because I read a 600-page book this year that was an awful reading experience, and I just don't plan on taking this channel in that direction anymore. I know that I want to be a reviewer, but at the same time, I don't think that reviewing books and giving them a platform on my channel that have come under fire for things that I can't even really talk on is a good idea anymore. So that means a few less petty reviews next year, depending on if I have surprise Artemis. If there's a surprise book that I really dislike, I will definitely make a review for you, but I will not be going out trying to find books that I don't like anymore. That will not happen because it's a waste of my time, and I want to be reading books that are going to be 5 stars, not 1 star. You know what I'm saying? My most disappointing, worst, shittiest, disappointing, I said that twice, books of 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave in the comments down below your worst and shittiest and most disappointing books of 2017, and like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye!